Hi, I'm Don Mitchell. Welcome back to Business Basics, the Fast Start Directions. This is part three, and in the last section, we talked about the ways you can perform research or to conduct interviews to be sure that there's adequate potential customers, for your business opportunity. Today, assuming that you've already discovered that that's true, we'll move on to the notion of cutting costs. And the key element there is to determine what costs to avoid. So let me begin by quoting from 1 Timothy chapter 6, verses 9 and 10 in the New King James Version. But those who desire to be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and harmful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil, for which some have strayed from the faith and the greediness, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. So we don't want that to happen, do we? But without loving money, we can simply be smart about money. So let's talk about that. Let's be clear about one thing. A typical new or small business will be a high cost, money losing operation without carefully trimming unnecessary costs. I find that this difficulty is seldom appreciated by those who want to start a business. Let's look at an example to see why problems with high costs can occur. Imagine someone wants to start a typical retail business in a good neighborhood where there are lots of potential customers. I find that most such people intend to work full-time in their business. To do so usually means replacing full-time income plus the benefits that a current employer is providing. Do you know what it costs to duplicate those benefits? In many cases, benefit costs in the United States are another 40% above the pre-tax income someone has been receiving. Thus, if a person's salary or hourly earnings now add up to $45,000 a year, the total cost to duplicate such an income and benefits in a business will be about $63,000. $45,000 plus 40% of $45,000, which is $18,000. In the United States, such benefits probably include a family health insurance policy, half of Social Security and Medicare payments, unemployment taxes, any employer contributions paid to a retirement plan, and life insurance. If someone lives outside the United States, the percentage cost of benefits compared to a salary can be higher or lower depending on where the business is located. If you will need employees, you'll have their salaries or hourly earnings to pay plus the related benefit costs. For example, 3 full-time employees earning pre-tax incomes of $28,000 each will probably cost you a total of about $117,600 in the United States. You'll have also the expense of hiring them, which may include advertising and placement fees, plus the time and effort involved. If employees will need training, you'll have expenses for that as well. Unless you can afford to buy a building for your store, you'll almost always rent some retail space. In the Boston, Massachusetts area near where I live, annual prime space rental rates are about $150 per square foot at the time this book was written. Assuming you want 2,500 square feet, annual rent will be $375,000. Some rental agreements also require the retailer to pay other costs such as for heat, electricity, water, sewage treatment, any increases in property taxes, and insurance for any damage done to the landlord's property. Paying such rent usually just provides you with some empty space. You'll need to decorate the space, purchase fixtures, and add any equipment required for your operations. You can put in such improvements on a shoestring budget, but doing much of the work yourself, you may need only to spend $100,000. If you have expensive tastes or needs for your concept and hire others to do the work, you might spend several times that amount. Bringing in customers often means advertising or conducting special events. It's not unusual for a retailer to spend 3 to 8% of sales for such expenses. Your annual cost could easily be $15,000 to $80,000, depending on what kind of retail establishment you operate. If customers are going to buy merchandise that they'll want to carry away with them, you'll have to stock enough inventory so that you can have on hand what they want. Even when paying wholesale prices, sufficient inventory can cost $100,000 to $300,000. I haven't listed all the potential costs. If you borrow any money, you'll usually have to pay interest as well as repay some of the principal each month. There are also insurance premiums to cover the inventory, the improvements you put in place, and injuries to customers. You'll need work done by lawyers, accountants, and other professionals. Many local organizations will expect you to donate goods or money to support their activities. Depending on what offerings you intend to provide, you'll find other classes of costs may be involved, including product liability insurance and injury claims. Spending time with owners of similar businesses is very helpful in determining and establishing such other costs. You should also be able to find a book containing a business plan for a reasonably similar business that describes the costs that its owner or owners have expect to incur or have experienced. Industry associations may also publish results of surveys on expenses for similar enterprises. Now, once the total costs are understood, I find that most people are helped by comparing such costs to a sales level that would provide a break-even operation. For retail business, such calculation means looking at typical gross margins. Surveys regularly develop such information and describe how much more retailers charge for their merchandise than what they pay for it. Notice that such gross margins are after any price discounts required to sell merchandise that no one will buy at full price. Let's assume that in this type of store, gross margins average 40%, which is typical for family clothing retailers. I'm going to compare the gross margins not to the cash costs, which include outlays that don't show up in profit and loss statement, such as buying the initial inventory, but instead just the more or less fixed annual operating costs, which include wages, benefits, rents, advertising, professional fees, insurance, interest, etc. Let's assume that such operating costs are $900,000 a year. To break even, I need to calculate how many annual sales at a 40% gross margin are needed to cover this level of cost. To do this, I divide $900,000 by 0.4. The answer is $2.25 million. Before looking further at costs, it's important to look at whether a survey or other research indicates that this level of sales can be reached. The survey research indicates I can attract 300 customers, for instance, and each one will spend an average of $7,500 a year in the store before I can break even. Unless these are very wealthy people or substantial businesses that need a great deal of what I provide, that's probably more spending than I can attract from 300 people. If my survey indicates the total spend for each of 300 customers will be $3,000, I can expect to gain $1,000 of that total. I now know that my retail store needs to reduce costs to break even at $300 a year in sales. Since that sales level is less than what I intend to pay in rent, I can quickly see that a radically different business model is needed. After considering such numbers, many potential retailers have quickly concluded that they need more customers and a lot fewer costs if they are to succeed. 4 primary retail business models have emerged that address such circumstances. First, offer online-only sales through automated software that simply takes the purchaser's order and directs a wholesaler to ship the order to the purchaser and the seller's packaging. In such a business model, almost all costs disappear other than developing, maintaining the website, and marketing to attract enough purchasers. Such an owner could keep a full-time job and spend little time on the business and gain a regular cash flow from the website after it was established and enough customers were attracted. Second, increased gross margins going to services or unique higher margin goods that are sold and provided from a retail location. Third, combine a retail location with an online business operated by automated software that increases business sales and profit contribution at limited cost. Fourth, discount prices below competitors in order to make a special trip worthwhile for customers to buy from you, whether in a retail location or online. As you can see by studying this list, many potential variations on these models exist, such as providing services or unique higher margin goods and discount prices from an automated online-only website. What costs should avoid? Spend no money that's unnecessary to provide the offerings that your most passionate potential customers crave. Okay, so let's apply this spending principle to providing some high margin item. It's rare that visiting a traditional retail store is essential to purchasing the correct offering. Such visit is most likely to be necessary with size, clothing, and shoes, where trying on and seeing the apparel makes a difference in customer satisfaction. Even in such circumstances, people just need a place to see and try on what appeals to them. A convenient location may work just as well for a customer or even better than a traditional retail store in a shopping district. If zoning permits, you could operate out of 2 rooms in an apartment with stock in 1 room and apparel on display in the other. People could change their clothes in a neatly maintained bathroom with a lock on the door. If people know exactly what they want, such as with a textbook, and what you offer is new merchandise, they just need to be able to trust that you'll deliver what you promise. Providing a credible guarantee of customer satisfaction can be enough to allow you to obtain orders. Without having a retail store, the break-even level may be reduced to as low as zero. That's part of the appeal of direct selling, whether to neighbors, coworkers, and acquaintances, all or through parties hosted by someone the guests know well. Temporary locations can also work well for items that people want to inspect, such as a rented table at a flea market or a farmer's market. If you pick the right location, traffic may be substantial at the times when you want to work for just a few hours. Why do some people starting a business insist on providing expensive retail locations for customers? In most cases, in my experience, it's because the owners don't know what passionate customers most crave and are hoping that the customers' urges to shop will lead to the owners turning a profit. It's usually more important to provide experiences that people like than to be located at a specific locale. Consider customers for antique furniture. A lot of the fun of acquiring an antique item can be in finding something wonderful in an unlikely place. Someone who wants to offer fine Scandinavian antiques in the United States might discover that operating out of a barn in a Scandinavian farming community near a major metropolitan area would provide an excuse for a pleasant outing and a little adventure to those who are looking to buy. The word about such a barn-based store and its offerings is spread by the seller in low-key ways. Customers might also gain the joy of feeling that a rare treasure has been found, or perhaps there could be occasional one-day auctions of rare items held at the Swedish consulate in a major city, with part of the auction proceeds donated to a Swedish charity. Notice that such experience-intensive marketing lends itself to inexpensive tests. If you try 10 different unusual ways for customers to purchase your high-margin item, at least one of the tests is likely to work just fine. If engaging in such methods requires more time than you have, find ways to work with partners or part-time employees who will be glad to work when you can't. Again, all the researching and thinking in the world isn't a substitute for starting to make sales, and that's our topic for the next part of this Fast Start Directions. So I hope you'll come back soon and learn from that part of the Fast Start Directions. But in the meantime, may God bless you, your family, and all you do. In the name of Jesus, take care.